Good afternoon everybody and welcome to Apex Racing TV and here on iRacing Live for the iRacing Grand Prix Series race. Andrew Woodhouse joined by iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. And Alex, you finished 9th here yesterday. You must enjoy this place and I'm sure these drivers do too.
Yeah, it's quite a nice track actually. There was times I absolutely hated this place, but now it's grown on me somewhat, and it's a tricky place even to set the car up for, and you need a lot of consistency here. The bumps really do make it quite a challenge, and the drivers are going to have a bit of a tough race today. It is difficult to overtake. Yesterday, Dirty Air really played effect into this back straight here. I think drivers are going to have to get really close to get a move done, but you do carry a lot of speed into Sunset Bend. But definitely the favourable place seemed to, for me certainly, was into the hairpin. Pulled off a few places there, so I think we'll keep an eye out for that as the most likely place for overtakes. So should be a fun race, split race, 20 car grid. Anything can happen. New season, round 1, season 2.
Would it be fair to say that setting up the suspension is the key round here then?
Yeah, definitely get the suspension and the dampers right. Of course, as our little stream that we did last week, tyres are all important. You want the tyres to last. There'll be split strategies today, I'm sure. Looking at the track temperature, 22 degrees, mostly cloudy. I think people will opt for a no stop. The car will make it, but we might see the odd 1 or 2 people that don't feel comfortable just going for that one stop. The car will be quicker after the pit stop, and you can chase down and get past people on those on those no stops. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But the cooler track's certainly going to play in favour to those on the no stop, I think.
All right, so I'll just take you through the grid rundown at the moment. We've got a couple of minutes left to qualifying, but we can update that if needed. Riley Preston is on pole position at the moment, the World Championship driver, by about half a second, 1:31.220. Freak Shotost is in second place with a 31.7. Then Fabrizio Gobbi in third, Steve Honan in fourth, Guilherme Escuda Heredia in fifth, Slava Yatsenko in sixth, Massimiliano Ficara in seventh, George Maris is eighth, it's ninth for Zoran Jonic, Ruslan Sabatov in 10th, Stefan Wisela in 11th, Julio Ornelas in 12th, 13th for Klaus Simets, Kevin Ellis in 14th, 15th, Jorge Marquinez in 15th there, and then Eric Vizzi in 16th, Jawad Karoni in 17th, Ricardo Duran Guisado in 18th, Daniel Winsing in 19th, and Johan Shareya in 20th. Yes. There we are.
Yeah, well done, mate.
That wasn't the easiest name rundown we've done for a while, I have to say.
Yeah.
So 35 laps. We did a race here the other night. It went as we expected. One stop was the preferred method. Are you expecting that here again?
Yeah, like I say, with the cooler track, I think they can do the no stop. So I definitely think there'll be a split there in this race. People who are just not comfortable with the tyres. The tyres do wear a lot more than what they did in season 1, and I think later on in some of the other races we will see a lot more punches with the hot track surface or something like that. We saw a couple last season, but yeah, not massively more wear than what we had. I think we were all hoping for a little bit more. We wanted about 20 lap max stints that you could get out of the tyres, and that just doesn't happen. So hopefully that'll be tweaked again moving forward. But yeah, I mean, the track temperature, I think, is all important for the strategies. Now, whether or not people will be fully aware of what's going on, whether they can make it on one stop, or on no stops or one stop, if they've tested it at all, that's going to be the key thing. So they will be quicker though if they pit. There's a good 0.7 of a second advantage that you've got out there. So and if guys haven't set their car up for the long run and do a no stop, then that's going to be about a second. There's enough laps in this race to be able to get the pit stop time loss back.
All right, as we can see, most of these McLarens have made their way to the grid. We're just waiting on a couple for the start here, and of course it can get messy in that first sector. We've seen it several times. Who's going to get the advantage into the first corner? Be Riley Preston? Will it be Freak Shotost?
Yeah, Riley, of course, a pro driver. Shorthorse, a real life driver. So lots of talent on that front row.
Here we go then. Drivers trying to find the ideal rest for the start. The green light is on. It was a good initial start from Shotos, but Preston got a better second phase. And here comes Fabrizio Gobbi. That's up the middle into turn 1. He's managed to get Shotos there. There you go. He got him there. Shotos out already.
Oh, big crash.
Big wreck at the back.
Well.
Look at that. That is Johan Shareya in trouble. Heredia. Moiselar is out. Shotos, I'm surprised he's not out, but he carries on with severe damage. But it's Riley Preston who's got the lead there. It was a little bit of netcode, or was there actually contact there?
Yeah, I wonder if we shouldn't just take a quick look at that back actually straight away. I know the start of the lap always exciting, but
front of the pack is spread out somewhat.
Just focus on Gosh here and see exactly what happened. He got a good initial launch, but just not as good.
Oh, it was Gobbi just drifted wide, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, too tight on the apex and just plumped him out wide there. So I have to say, and because his car come across, that's really what scared everybody else on the track there, and everybody jinked to the left, and yeah, it was unfortunate. I have to say, I think yeah, Fabrizio there really didn't leave enough room on the outside. He's to blame on that, but gets away scot-free, really.
Yeah, there was a I think it's Heredia who lost it. I don't know if he just lost it or whether he was hit. Oh, he got hit. He got sandwiched by Ornelas, and then there was the Apex Academy car on the inside. I think it was Ficara who he ended up going into, and that's what triggered that all off, Alex.
Yeah, Ficara's still out there though. No issues that I can see there. So
yeah, still running. Preston has a lead of about 3/4 of a second from Gobby, who I would be surprised if he didn't have any damage at all, but yeah, he didn't really make any effort to leave the room there.
no, not at all. And it was suspension to suspension as well. So, and the McLaren MP430 is a lot more hardy than the old car. So, I think we'll be okay. I had a little bit of suspension to suspension contact with Riley yesterday after he got together with Patrick Holzman, and I think you know, I certainly had no issue with my car, but I think Riley's did take a fair whack. So, but I was able to continue. So they can have a bit of a contact and survive, but
So we've lost Shotost. Moisela is also out as well. Heredia is going to at least have to come into the pit lane for repairs. In fact, I wonder if he had really any damage, because I think it was just light contact for him and a spin. I don't actually think anyone hit him, but hit him after he'd spun, so he may be able to continue there. We'll keep an eye on that. It's 1.1 seconds for Riley Preston now. He's managed to get out of the DRS zone, Alex, and really that's a big plus already for him.
oh, just watching a battle here. This is between Daniel Wensin and Jorge Martinez there, and Wensin goes around the outside of turn one. That's an impressive move. We saw
Guisardo off there a little bit behind that, and this is going to allow Simets to come through. So that's not Klaus Simets, that is Guisardo. It was Marquinhos who went slightly off, sorry.
Yep.
I'll get it right at some point.
George Maris, we saw George last season, very consistent, and didn't quite have the long race run pace last season, so hopefully he's fixed that a little bit in his sets, and he'll be able to fight. But right behind Yasenko right now, and Steve Honan just ahead of him as well. I know Steve from the IndyCar, and he's very quick in that as well, so good to see him up there and fighting well.
Maris got a good run. He didn't quite have the straight line speed that Slava Yatsenko had down the back straight, so he couldn't really close in. Yatsenko with DRS on Steve Honan. So you know, it's that DRS train that we were talking about before we came on air. Not really helping George Maris that time.
No, it's it's very frustrating, I have to say, and you know, when you sat in a pack and you're third car back, you know, you wanna move forward, but it's just so difficult. You know, if you're fifth or sixth car back, well, you can just forget it.
Although Yatsenko did go slightly defensive through that first sector, and Maris, you can tell Maris has got the pace, Alex, in the slow corners, but just can't find it in the higher speed stuff really to just stay right under the rear wing of Yatsenko into the last sector. Look at that, you see. Now on that faster section, he loses quite a lot of ground, but he seems like he's running quite a lot more downforce possibly.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I think most drivers are probably running max rear wing and you know, rear wicker and everything else here, but of course other things can affect that, how much rake angle you've got, as he has a little look to the outside. Yasenko just shuts the door.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. Tell me that's not. Ah, what?
That's how to ruin a great battle, isn't it? He disappear.
Well, he might just pop back up, but that could be a bit of a surprise for Slavan if he does.
Ficara with DRS. He's got a great chance into Sunset Bend, Alex. And yes, he's through. Good move there by Massimiliano Ficara.
These guys have been fighting, actually. They're both...
Chance for Ornelas to come back, though. We saw him win the race the other night.
They're both very quick, looking at the lap times there as well, but they're sort of squabbling amongst themselves at the minute, and they're losing ground on the cars ahead because of that. I think they can get up and get towards Honan and Yatsenko ahead.
They didn't relatively have a good qualifying, I don't think, compared to what they're capable of. I think there's been an accident between Caroni and Wensing because they're both in the pits.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Sunset Bend it was, Alex. I don't know if you can take it away there.
See if we
and
can
that
get
was
that
just
one.
daft driving, I'll be honest. It looks like. Oh, it's just daft driving by Wensing. You can't get that close.
Oh, there's something going off ahead as well. Someone slow. That almost looks like, I'm not sure who that was.
Demaris.
There was two drivers having a bit of a battle going into the corner. Oh yeah, you're right. And just made a little bit of contact with the rear end, didn't he? And it just got the car all unsettled ahead and just boom. Yeah, you're right.
Can't get that close, can you really?
It's gonna bite you, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. And it did because, and it's ended his own race now as well as the race of Jawad Caroni, because it unsettled Caroni's car just enough that he lost it. Because we saw the other night, Friday night, just how difficult, just how easy it is to get a big twitch on through Sunset Bend if you're not careful. And yeah, he didn't realise that, which was a bit poor, to be honest.
Preston flying out there at the moment. 1:34.0 last time by. Of course, it says Evolution Racing Australia on our overlay. He's in those guys, but he also races for Orion. Only races for Orion in the McLaren in the F1 series and the World Championship. Everything else, he jumps in with his with the guys, Brendan O'Brien and all those lot from Australia.
Now the group with Ficara, Ornelas, and now Ruslan Sabatov and Zoran Djondjic, they are catching this group with Yatsenko and Honan in it. As you predicted, they've gone right up to the back of them almost already, and Ficara is going to have DRS very, very shortly.
Yeah, Ficara with a 1:34.7 at that sort of pace, he's got the chance to sort of, lap as well. He's lapping as quick as P2 at the moment, so if he can just gain a little bit more, get some good runs, you never know, he might have a run. See what his long run pace has been like. It's been very consistent in previous seasons, so yeah, let's hope for the best.
Ficara's dropped Ornelas now, and we saw how quick Ornelas was on Friday night. But it wouldn't surprise me, Alex, if he has a bit of slight damage, because it was connected. It was collected a little bit in that accident at turn 1. So.
Oh, he just hit the inside wall as well.
He's got some damage now.
That's going to hurt big time.
Ficara's going to go down the. Sorry, not Ficara. Djondjic is going to go down the inside. Well, he was, and then Ornelas closed the door. But again, that's an easy mistake to make. But it's a little bit of a daft one, isn't it? I've seen some daft driving on Sunday morning. Yeah,
I mean, the cold track obviously gives you a lot more grip there as well, and you have to tweak your set a little bit
into the wall.
with the cold track as well. Drivers, they may well have been testing with hotter track conditions, and the car doesn't turn so well in there. You get a bit more headwind going into that corner, and the car's really gonna grip and want to turn through there. And it just looks like he got out of the dirty air for the first time and caught him out a little bit. He's struggling a bit now as well. So you're right. I think he's picked up some extra damage.
Let's be honest, driving straight into walls isn't going to help you, is it? I don't think at any point.
Not so much.
But yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You lose the. You get clear track in front of you, and sometimes you do things that the car behaves in a way that it wasn't before, and remember at Watkins Glen once I was I think it was a GT3 race. I was behind someone for about 5 laps, and I overtook them. Then the first corner that I came up to after that, I crashed because the car just did not behave in any way, shape or form how it did before. So Ornelas dropping down then to 8th place. Zoran Jonic is in P7 after the misfortune of Ornelas, but actually Ornelas doesn't look too bad for him, does it?
No, he's still going, so we'll have to see what he does this next lap by. I'm just having a quick look at this this battle that's forming up right now. This is between Steve Slava and Massimo. Oh no, I forgot Kara there. I'll get that right. Apologies. And it's Cinco right now who's really putting the pressure on. That last lap as well, we saw the graphic that come up quite considerably quicker. It's the slowest man currently is at the front of that, and the fastest man is at the back. So this is going to be a pretty tasty battle very, very quickly.
Yeah, and somewhere in the middle of that as well is Ruslan Sabitov as well, who's he's not really in that front group, but he hasn't dropped off too far. But now is Ficarra within DRS range, Alex? Can you tell that from? We'll see. I guess if we can open it.
0.7 he is.
There it is. So does make a difference here, and I mean it's not. We mentioned that the DRS isn't the strongest at the moment, and I believe iRacing are working on a fix for that. But it's still a valuable tool, isn't it? Even at its sort of reduced potency that we're seeing.
Well, when you're in this position, so you're chasing someone down and they haven't got DRS in front of you, then it is still very useful. A combination of the push to pass, the full ERS deploy, and the DRS and the draft. You can get runs as he gets all kinds of out of shape through turn 4 just before the first DRS
it's
zone
typical,
we have.
Isn't it?
And he's now looking more towards his rear view mirror than he was forward to try and get past Honan.
Yeah, and Yasenko coming under pressure from Ficarra now. But he's got good. We noticed, I think, earlier on as well, when I think it was Maris was behind him. We noticed good straight line speed from Yasenko. So, but maybe he's not getting the. This is always the trade-off, isn't it? You have good straight line speed, give yourself the chance to overtake, but you can't always do well through the preceding corners to make that an advantage. It sounds really simple and ridiculous, but that's the problem that Slava Yasenko appears to be having at the moment.
Yeah, and you can see we were just on board there with Ficarra. He picked up a whole load of dirty air going through that penultimate corner. It's pretty tough there, I have to say, and he was a lot closer to Cinco going into that corner than he was coming out of it. So, and doesn't close up at all coming down that back straight.
For instance, with a corner like Sunset Bend, is there any sort of benefit to taking a different line through there and trying to avoid the dirty air as such? A bit like on the oval sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple lines that you can take. So, I mean, I was able to pull a move off around the outside of there, and I just got that sweet line that just didn't seem to avoid all of the bumps, and I was able to pick up the gas really early, and it paid off nicely. Rather than sort of stick in the dirty air kind of thing and try and get an undercut coming out of it. But there's so many lines through there, and they're all pretty much the same sort of lap time that you produce off them. So as you'd think,
here we go.
Down into the hairpin.
And Honan ran a little bit wide there.
Compromises his exit there as well. It's very tricky if you've got a tight line just to hold it flat through there as well. So Yasenko has had a great exit out of that, and you don't want to be. It's probably one of the hardest corners to do an overtake there as well. The bumpiest corner on the track, that sort of 90-degree right-hander after that sort of sweep in.
Oh, he's gone! Honan's off.
Too much on the loud pedal there. Just loses it. Where's that set him down? That puts him all the way down to 8th place.
He's behind Sabitov, and Ornelas, in fact, is behind. So Ornelas has recovered fairly well to get up to 8th place, and it's now going to be 7th. So all that work is going to have to be done again. At the front, Riley Preston going off on his merry way. 133.8.
Yeah, flying out there really.
Fabrizio Gobbi, to be honest, he's a bit lucky that he's even in the race, but he is lapping pretty well out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, there's quite a margin built up behind him now as well. I think Ficarra probably does have the pace to be able to challenge him if they were on a straight fight, but if he does get past Yasenko, he's going to be about 8 seconds behind, 8-9 seconds. So it's a tall order. It just depends what people do as far as strategy. You know, will we see one stops? Or are we just going to see people run it out? If these front guys are on a no stop as well, with the kind of pace they've got, then there's not an awful lot of chance for anyone out there.
It will be interesting to see, though, if now that Yasenko's free of Honan, whether he can actually pull the pin and he can go and get in maybe half a second a lap, something like that, to try to make a move towards Gobbi. 8 seconds, it's still doable at this point. But what's the pit stop time round here in terms of what we're estimating for the full pit in, pit out?
Yeah, time lost, you're looking at about 26.5 seconds.
So at the moment, if everyone down to Kevin Ellis is within that 26 seconds, and if you're the leader, and you've got to treat it as if everybody's going to no stop this in terms of when you plan your pit stop.
Yeah, that's it. I wonder if Riley'll have a bit of fun with it, and he will pit anyway. Do you know what I mean?
And see if he can't just make his way through the traffic.
Yeah, give himself a bit of a challenge, a bit of fun. I don't know. He might just want to do it on the single no stop.
Might just want to get the W, as we say. Ficarra, look at that.
Yeah, very good
in the slow stuff, beautifully. DRS zone now as well, down towards the hairpin.
Yeah, both drivers last lap were in the 34, so they are quick. Ficarra gonna have to go around
on the brakes. It's gonna go around the outside. Yes, has he done it?
That's good.
Oh, that's great.
That's very good.
That's excellent. He set up Slava Yatsenko there, and he just took that opportunity. Yatsenko didn't really do a great deal wrong. He was maybe a little wide into one of those sector 1 corners, but yeah, that's how to use DRS to your advantage, and got a lot of confidence under braking as well.
Yeah, it's not easy to go around the outside there. You got to have a lot of trust in the driver on the inside that they're not going to run you out wide and off the track as well. We've got somebody else off as well in the background.
Ornelas again.
19, Carnival 19, 14th place as well. So.
Oh, Johan Charreira.
Just struggling a little bit there, it seems. We lost a few more people. Obviously, we know we lost Maris as well. So
I think he was hit at the start as well.
What's going on? We lost Fabrizio as well. Disappeared off of my timing screen.
That just disappearance, or is that a crash? No, he's just gone, I think. Well,
but that's 2 of those we've had as well. Oh, that's a shame.
Some might say that justice has been done in that respect, but yeah, it's unfortunate. They're running second, running a very strong race. Now Ficarra, let's see what you can do now that you're in P2. I don't think he has the pace to challenge Riley Preston, but we'll see, because it depends on the strategy that these two are going to employ.
His only hope really is that Riley comes in for a pit and that Ficarra doesn't, because
really at this point,
he will get. I'll be honest. At 17 seconds, he will get absolutely mugged when Riley comes past him. He's already quicker now. You add another 0.7 of a second to that, and it's not going to matter if there's a DRS train or anything. That sort of 1.5 second closure rate is going to be more than enough to get a move done.
And he is driving a very, very good race. Qualified 7th. He has taken advantage of a couple of bits of misfortune, but that's what Formula One's all about, and that's what the iRacing Grand Prix Series is all about as well. You take advantage of the chances when they're presented to you. And Massimiliano Ficarra been presented with 2nd place.
Yeah, just going to see what the lap times are they do this time. Are obviously in free air for a complete lap. Last time included an overtake. 34.7, so yeah, a respectable time.
It's what he was doing before, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's about where he was with what Gobbi was doing, really. So, like I say, I think they'd have had a great race if they'd been together. Shame he's unfortunately been disconnected.
It's Always great to see the green cars doing well anyway, mate.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them out there. So Yasenko obviously just running his team livery, but yeah, he's
got Zoran in 5th as well.
He's one of the 2.0 members, Zoran, and then Julio behind him as well, all 2.0 members. So big shout out to them.
Yep, and it's just great to see it. We've got the Kevin Ellis who's running it. We haven't really mentioned him. He's running a very good race, really. Excuse me, sorry. Started 14th, is now 7th, and it's good to just big up a guy who's just out there doing his job and doing it well.
Yeah, good key, consistent lap times, really, and that's why he is where he is. I think
he's not dropped. He's not been outside of the window of 35.2 to 35.8 in the last 35.1 to 35.8. All his laps have been between. So,
I mean, he is a little bit slower than Honan behind, but I think should be able to hold on to that. We're only talking a 1/10 of a second.
Honan's had another issue as well somewhere on the 12th lap as well, because he was
34.4 for Honan, so he all of a sudden lit the timing green up as well. So he's pushing hard.
He dropped down again, Alex. He lost another 8 seconds. This is the thing. I wonder if he's just not realised just how badly he cooked the tyres with that spin.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too much now, isn't it? So.
And he's pushing on the set. We saw it the other night, didn't we, with someone who spun off and then carried on as if nothing happened. And it's only going to lead to more spins, unfortunately, in this car. Yatsenko is not dropping off completely off Ficarra. DRS will be aiding him in that, but
only a 35.0 for Ficarra that lap as well. So not been able to get away and pull. And I think Ruslan's closing in slowly but surely. Not that last lap, but that gap's down to 1.2 seconds as well. So,
well, if you remember, he was sort of in the background of all these shots when these guys were battling, and now he's inching closer and closer to the foreground. Is that a move going on there? No, it's not. My eyes playing tricks on me.
Looks like we've lost.
We've lost George Maris, haven't we?
Another spin for Paredes out there as well. Down in 13th.
He's not had the best race.
Big time front damage on there as well. Let's take a look back and see what caused that. So just recovering.
Lit the rears up, I think.
Yeah, nice shiny front wing going into Sunset Bend on this lap. Just see what it was and where he lost it. Not coming out of Sunset.
Next little section, I think.
Pretty easy to lose it out of turn 1. It's bumpy, but no issues there. So it's going to be coming out of sector 1. It's all over the curb there. Oh yeah, and the car just sort of bit him, and that's what you get with the tyres now. It's there's that. They get to a point now where they just are a little bit slick. That's what you get. It's like, okay, you can deal with that, but you have to be aware that they get to that point, and it's about now 16 laps. They're kind of in that window where you're tempted to have like a stop. You're like,
tracking for the leader, just making it a little difficult.
Do I want to stop or do I not want to stop? And it looks like Riley's got a cone caught there. He ran a little bit wide. Now, whether or not he has got one caught or not, yeah, we don't know.
Yes.
It does look a little bit laughable. Sorry, iRacing, and I know you're getting rid of the cones from there, but you need to sort the cone models out so they don't do that.
Yes.
Constructive
feedback. Because they wouldn't get wedged
feedback.
in the front wing. That's for sure.
No, they'd be smashed out of the way.
And probably the front wing too, with it.
And there it just disappears.
I'll tell you what we do need, as another constructive thing. With the front wings on these cars, we need bits to break off them, I think.
Yes, I agree.
Instead of them to bend. I mean, sometimes you get bent front wings in real life, but I think if we had bits coming off and you could see that visible damage, I think that would be really, really good. But I'm sure they're working on it though.
Well, I think you're right, and this is part of their new damage model that they are working on, isn't it? Where it's going to leave debris on the track and things like that. So, but you're right. We want to see like the end plates and and things like that come off the car,
or even like a half, one side of the wing coming off.
Exactly.
We've seen that we've seen that previously. It's just a good indicator for us, isn't it? Because the front nose cone wouldn't really bend, would it? It would just either come off or it would break off at the nose. So, but yeah, it's I'm sure they're working on it. The last few cars they brought out, I have to say, they've had very, very good damage models, really, compared to some of the old ones.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this generally has a really good damage model. Yeah, we don't have the bits coming off, but actually, how hardy the car is and things like that. Yeah, very, very good, and the Renault as well, great. And I have to say, they've done a great job on the most recent cars that they've released of how they drive and things like that. I'm talking single-seater. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to get in the new GT3s yet.
I was going to ask about the Audi, because I think you're excited about that one, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I think we're going to jump in that next week when they do their balance of performance update, and we're gonna see what we're going to run for the Blancpain series. But yeah, I think they've done a great job on those. So when we were talking off air what they need to do in this series, and right now we're talking here. Are we going to get a stop? Are we not going to get a stop? Yeah, we want a stop. Yeah, we want 2 tyres, and we want compounds, and we want them to be mandatory that you have to run both.
Yep.
This is something that the community's been crying out for as a feature for so long, and it'll make the racing so much more interesting. And we
need the full range of compounds as well.
We do.
All the way up to even the ultra soft if they can get it.
I would be happy with 2 if they had this tyre and then they whacked a red super soft on there and said, right, you have to use both. Yes, please. That would be. That would be great. Just needs to.
Because you don't need to have them all. If you have 2 done well, that will have the same effect on it.
Yeah, exactly. Two will be a great. Ficarra goes ploughing through the cones.
Yes.
Cones there. Doesn't appear to have picked up any. He's lucky there. It's very easy to get them.
I think he has finally got out of DRS range of Slava as well. So. Sabatov's just dropped off a tiny bit as well.
Yeah, 2 seconds back now.
But I think it's actually Ficarra who's picked up the pace as opposed to really Sabatov slowing down. Sabatov's been doing around the high 30. You know what, mate? You want consistency. Ruslan Sabatov, every lap between lap 2 and lap 18 that we're on has been between 134.7 and 135.3.
Yeah, very good.
It's phenomenal, and that's why Alex has been able to get closer to this group, because actually he's the slowest of the 3, but he's by far the most consistent, and that you can see that in the you can really see that out there. Yeah, Senko's been in the 36s a couple of times. He's been fairly consistent as well, but not to that degree.
There's not much going on the track right now. Come on, let's have a pit stop.
This reminds me of old the Saturday morning races that we used to do, when in the middle of the races everybody was split apart and we were just waiting for someone to pull the trigger on a pit stop.
Yeah, we just need something just to spice it up. Now, last season when the tyres started to go off, which will happen again, it gets very tasty at the end, and I think we'll have that again. It's who's got the car set up for the long run, and who's quick over the first sort of 2/3 of a run. So,
although having said all that, mate, after the frantic action that was the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship on Thursday, I'm glad for a race where I don't have to, I don't need a can of energy drink to know what I'm doing. There was a lot going on Thursday night.
Indeed. Yeah, it was crazy actually on Thursday. So
it was hard to follow us, I think, especially because, as it is at the start of any new season, the liveries were all different nearly, and it was 47 cars on the grid. It was pretty difficult to pick out who was crashing and who was overtaking. So.
And for those that are wondering what we're talking about, the British Sim Racers Touring Car Pro Series. Oh, we've got somebody going off. That's Julio there, he's really struggling. Definitely has some damage. Lap times have really dropped off. Honan goes back past him up to 7th. That's a few places that he's dropped. So yeah, that damage.
Himself.
That damage from the first lap and then hitting the wall was just it's just affected his rhythm somewhat. But yeah, so the British Sim Racers Touring Car Pro Series on Thursday night goes out on our YouTube channel, the iRacing Twitch channel, iRacing Live, and Motors TV as well. And the drivers, it's a private league, but the drivers are racing for a prize pool that's going to be anywhere from $10,000 to as high as $20,000. They're collecting sponsorships right now as well. So
yeah, we're not actually sure because the season goes on for so long.
Yeah.
That we don't need the prize fund until the end, essentially. So
yeah, exactly.
We're trying to get that in there, but $20,000, Alex, for a private league is it's cracking, and televised coverage as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it rivals anything that the World Championships now offer, to be honest. So I'm quite surprised we haven't seen a couple of the big teams go, do you know what? This would be better for us to do. You know, as a team, they could
interesting, isn't it?
They could earn more out of it. You know. So,
well, they won't get in this season.
Well, no, all the spots are taken. So yeah, maybe for 2017. So
we've got drivers such as Sebastian Job, Ray Alfala, the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze champion 2 times, I believe, and who else have we got? We've got Jamie Fluke in there. We've got guys who have experience at the highest level. Ashley Sutton,
Ash Sutton, touring car driver himself. Yeah.
DC driver, and you know what? I'm excited for his debut this season.
Indeed.
I mean, we make a few jokes at Ash's expense sometimes, but I'm genuinely very pleased for him, and it'd be great to see one of our lot on the track and worrying the big boys, which I'm sure he will, because he's phenomenally fast in anything he races.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good on the brakes in anything. He was in the Clios that he ran last season as well, so it's going to be good. And just
I wonder if his braking's
here,
going to be as good in that MG. If it is, then watch out, everybody else.
Yusenko closing back in on Ficarra now as well, 0.6 of a second. That was a 34.7 for Yusenko that last lap. Ficarra only a 35.3. So some problems for Ficarra, and there's a little bit of a drift going into turn 2 as well. So perhaps something we've missed off track, heated those rears, and that can do that. Now drivers have got tools that they can use to sort that out. So add a little bit of entry preload into the car just to tighten the rear end a little bit, or move the brake bias forward again, just so that the rear's not sort of backing into the corner and heating the tyres up even more. You've just got to control the heat in the rears. It seemed to be rear limited track this week as well, so fronts don't seem to be a problem. It's definitely the rears going off that appeared to be the issue.
But that dramatic sort of closure was because essentially Yatsenko did his fastest lap of the race and Ficarra did his slowest lap of the race.
Yeah.
So it wasn't by much. There was only 0.6 of a swing. But I say only. That's now put Yatsenko right back in the DRS activation zone. And you can see here he's going to open it now and get a little bit of an advantage down the main straight. It is about 5 kilometers an hour. Not a gigantic amount. It's not really what we want it to be, but it is enough, as you can see, mate, to get Yatsenko right back there on the tail of Ficarra.
Yeah, you can't. There's a couple of things you can do. You can kind of use it down there to get closer, so you're really tucked up under the wing going to that first sector. Now that first corner is tough to stay close. We know how tough it is just looking at yesterday's World Championship race.
Well, you did it 50 odd times.
Well, yes, but but I'm sorry for pointing it out, but Gregor one time had a car right in front of him. He just can't see your turn or break-in point, and unfortunately tagged Yoni, and out Yoni went. But it's not easy to stay really tucked up behind someone there, so you can use the first ERS section going into that hairpin. So
because these cars, it's the same regulations as the Williams essentially in terms of the way the car looks, but these higher rear wings than say cars of the maybe 10 years ago or so. They do cause some visibility issues sometimes.
Yes, when you're 0.2 of a second behind, they take up a lot of your vision. And I tell you what,
That's
going
it.
into turn 1, there's not really any braking markers. There's nothing. There's no cones. There's no marker. You know, I use for me, it's a bit on the track is what I use. So if there's a car in front, and
traffic causing Yatsenko all sorts of problems there. He just could not. He had half a chance of closing on Ficarra that time, and yeah, the lap traffic just right in the middle of Sunset Bend.
Yeah, I can't see my braking marker if there's traffic in front of me. So you know, I have to. I sort of have to have a bit of a guess at it. You know, I'll pop out and have a little look, try and eyeball it before I get into the braking zone, and just have a. You know, it's like, it's around here. You know.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just have to have your best guess, and
yep.
It's a bit like driving in when people say about driving in the wet, how you look to the side sometimes, because you can't see anything in front, and I think that's a similar sort of you look for distinguishing markers. I think that's why it helps, Alex, to have braking markers at the side of the track though as well, isn't it? Because for another obvious reason that you can hit them every time, regardless of what your visibility is like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what Yatsenko
which you've
really
been telling me to do for years.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's what Yatsenko struggled there. He got close, didn't he? But then he couldn't stay. I mean, we know we had a back marker the next lap. So I wonder actually if he should use the first one to really get as close as he can, and needs to try and get under his wing through this section and nail this penultimate corner there. It's tricky in the dirty air, but if he can get about 0.4 of a second behind coming out of there, then he's got a chance to throw one in into Sunset Bend. And like we said, there's a couple of lines through there as well. So you have to take a bit of a gamble. It'll be a late move, but if you carry enough speed, you can get clear.
Kara's got good straight line speed on that car, it looks like. Ruslan Sabitov must be actually pretty annoyed with the way this race is panning out. He's driving a great race, and he's done some of his fastest times, but he just had a lap of a 36.3, and that was coming through traffic. So he's never been able to just get in the DRS range where he can then one, improve his lap times, and two, try and tag along and make something happen.
Yeah, and of course, all this time that it's going on as well, he's probably using a little bit more of his DRS energy just to try and close back in, and then he loses it again. It's sometimes you want to take a bit of a gamble and use up a little bit more just to get in that DRS zone. You know that you can save it once you're in there.
Yeah.
But you have to sort of expel a little bit just to get there, sort of speculate to accumulate, so to speak. But
to win.
Yeah, when you get a back mark, all of a sudden it just undoes your whole sort of strategy. You might well be sat in the car right now, just going, "Oh, what the heck has just gone on there?"
Yeah, heck is a polite way of putting it, I think. When it's so many laps behind the other driver. Has anybody been in the pits yet? This is what I need to ask, because it doesn't appear that anybody has been.
No, not any of the front runners. The only people we've had go into pits are people that have had issues. So
I'm a little surprised that maybe Julio didn't do that, considering it worked well for him on Friday night.
Well, he's one of that.
He has been in, actually.
I think it's more due to the damage over anything.
I bet he wishes he pitted earlier. He's going it's his consistency that's been the problem. He's not really going much faster. He's just now got a new nose cone, and I think that's helping him as well. But yeah. What's the difference between his performance tonight and the one on Friday? Because on Friday he looked, legitimately very good, and today he hasn't really looked that good, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think the difference really is he's qualifying there. Qualifying let him down a little bit, put him right in the mid pack, and then from there he picked up a little bit of something in that first lap instant, didn't he? So
yep.
When you're carrying a tiny little bit of damage, if the car's just tracking a little bit to the left or the right. I wonder actually if we can get on board with him and just sort of see if he's holding his steering wheel a little bit to the left or right in this. As he runs extremely wide. Doesn't look like he is. He's definitely picked up a cone.
I could see the cone as well.
There it goes. Let's just see when he comes down the straight if he's holding his steering wheel to the right at all. or the left. Doesn't look like it. It looks like he's got no issues. No, he is.
Tiny
you
bit.
can see. Yeah, he's just holding it a little bit to the left, so he has got some suspension damage there, and that really will have hurt him from.
Because am I right that that's one of the things they did in one of the last builds is they've made that 100% accurate now?
Yes.
The steering input, because it used to be that
it used to be off-centered.
Everybody looked like it was tracking to the left.
Yeah, it is fine now. We can actually tell if somebody's got some suspension damage. Jamie Fluke on the chat, loving the cone action as always.
Yes. Enjoys the cones there. I hope he had a good St. Patrick's Day as well. Well, he would have done, but he didn't have a great night in the Kia. So, Riley Preston, we apologise, Riley. We've not really shown you very much tonight, but this afternoon. Sorry, but you've been so dominant. 25-second lead nearly now.
Yeah, exactly. Pit stop. Make it interesting. Come on.
At least have a slow pit stop. Maybe.
Yeah, but you're only going to be 2 seconds behind Picara, so fresh tyres. Come on, someone on his teammate who's listening to the chat, get him into the pits. Let's have some action. Don't be afraid.
To be honest, I would rather have the 25-second lead.
Well, yeah, probably.
If I'm honest,
probably me too as well.
But maybe if he gets it to, I was going to say maybe if he extends the lead a bit more, he'll come in and get some fresh tyres. But do we think then it's not an issue with punctures if it's a bit cooler than it was the other day?
Yeah, I think if it's
Sakara's blinking there out. I hope that's not the start of an issue.
I think if it's relatively cool, you've got no real problems. I was able to do a 30-lap run pretty comfortably on them, and I felt like I could go a little bit more as well. So
we're not seeing a massive amount of drop off either, are we? With lap time wise, I mean,
it was when I
Riley's
was a hot track
a little bit, but
yeah, he's in the 34.6s now compared to the 33.8s.
Doesn't need to push it though, does he?
No, not at all. So, and he's probably just saving the tyre a little bit now as well. They will get a call to say that the tyres are a little bit, it's a little bit done. You might consider wanting a pit from their spotters, but you usually got about 5 or 6 laps after that before you're in any real danger of a puncture.
We've got 8 laps to go.
And we saw it at Watkins Glen, so it's not unheard of. Last season, that was absolute scorching track temp. I think maximum air temperature and clear skies. It couldn't get any hotter. And I think we saw 2 punches there, so people just trying to eke it out, that 66% of race distance. So, yeah, I mean, what's 66? This is not a soft tyre, is it? What are we looking at here, really? What, medium?
Yeah, I mean, it's got the yellow stripe on it, but it's not. Yeah, it's not a soft tyre. I think it could be a medium tyre.
Yeah, we're looking at
especially
a white.
on a track like this, which is pretty abrasive. I think. I think this would be if F1 ran here. I think they would run the medium. So many bumps and things like that, which take its toll, I think, on the tyres, and this concrete surface as well. F1 doesn't run on any concrete.
No.
Concrete circuits, much different to IndyCar, of course, which runs on them all the time.
Yeah. The crazy thing is if you showed you showed the track to an F1 driver and said, right, let's drive your F1 car around here, they would throw their toys out of their cribs like big babies straight away. Oh, there's a bump there, you need to sort that out.
You could run F1 here with a few. It's going to be sacrilegious, I think, for me to say it. But I think if you made a few modifications to the layout and you repaved it, and I think you could have a Grand Prix here. There's no question. You just need a few more heavy braking zones, I think, Alex, so to give people a chance to overtake.
As Julio there moves himself into 10th position for his pit stop. Yeah, he's lapping in the 34s now as well, so the fresh tyres making the difference. Oh, a little bit out of shape. I have to say, everything's really separated apart now, isn't it? There's gaps everywhere.
Yeah.
So
even the second to fourth battle, they're 2 seconds away from each other, so nobody's threatening to to close in. Maybe Ruslan is going to finally make it up to Yatsenko at some point. I don't know. I don't actually know if he's got enough time left. I doubt it, actually. Yatsenko, he is probably the least consistent out of the three in terms of his actual driving, but his lap times are coming out at quite similar, really, aren't they?
Yeah, and actually Ruslan's just dropping off a little bit as well, so tyres are starting to show a bit of sign of degradation now as well. Riley puts in a 34.2 just to show that he's still got you know, a lot of grip out there.
It does appear, Alex, that this is an easier car to be consistent in than the Williams was.
Well, I think in race trim, I mean in quali trim, it is a very tough car to drive, I have to say. And anyone who jumps in it and thinks, oh yeah, I'll take the fuel out and start running quali laps, you know, engine mode 1 and just let's go for it, you know, it's gonna be tough. You know, this is not the way to learn the car and get the feel. At the end of the day, we have to race it. So when you race it and the ERS levels come down, it's not as twitchy and torquey and horrible. It's actually a really pleasant car to drive in a race. And you're right, it is a lot more consistent. You know, it's so I think for anyone who's thinking, oh yeah, it's a right old handful, you know, stick the race fuel in it, but find out what you need to do for your ERS settings and things like that, and go turn 10-15 laps. It's a much more pleasant race car than it is a quali car.
All right, well I may take that advice. I think I was just jumping in it with a few kilos of fuel and trying to.
It's tough. It is tough.
You know, I think once you realise, I guess, what it's going to do at the with the fuller tank, then I suppose it will become easier to learn with no fuel in it. Ficarra 34.5, so
good lap. And actually,
yeah.
if I just bring a little graphic up on screen,
his second best lap of the race, I think.
Yeah, well, and actually exactly the same lap time as our race leader as well, 1:34.594 for both drivers that lap, 25 seconds apart. But yeah,
there you go.
So
he's done a good job for Ficarra, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, when you consider what was he was about 20 seconds behind. Well, it was about 18 seconds behind, wasn't he, when he actually got into sort of second place. And he's not lost a great deal of time. You know, had his qualifying gone a lot better, you know, he might have sat here about 15 seconds behind Riley, which is pretty respectable considering, you know, Riley's current performance in the World Championship. He's been mixing it in there comfortably on all 3 rounds so far. So very quick driver, and a great Pro Series from him as well.
But this shows, Alex, I think, just how the World Championship, the quality of that has even come along, even in a couple of seasons, because a couple of seasons ago there were some drivers in there who were legitimately a second and a half slower than the fastest guys, and really, you know, most of these guys in this race today, they would have a decent chance of being within that. They would have had a good chance of being in the World Championship maybe 2 years ago.
I think you're right there.
As Ficarra has a big slide. I don't know if you saw that. That looked.
Switch to Riley, actually. To have a little look back.
Oh, that's a great save, you know, Alex. That could have been his race ended. Through turn 2, isn't it? I don't know if you can have a little look at that, but he had to really fight the car there to even stay in the race.
That's just the sign the tyres are starting to give up a little bit out there right now. Oh yeah, big time. He collects that up really well, doesn't he, actually? You can see him
actually give him a better line for the next corner.
Yeah, you can see him working the steering wheel there, so I'll be interested to see what his lap time is after this.
Yeah, he'll be coming into the last sector now. But that's the small things, isn't it? That this is a car that really makes you concentrate for the whole distance.
Yeah, you do have to be on your toes. I'm not going to deny that. Right, I'm just going to see this lap time, and then we'll quickly run down the order of things, and we'll take a quick look at some of the drivers that we haven't sort of spoke about that much during the race, just to give them a little bit of airtime.
Yes.
But let's see what he does.
Because we don't want anyone watching this back and cursing us, do we? Afterwards.
Not at all. And you know, for the most part, most of the action's been sort of around this, you know, second, third, fourth sort of barrel. 35.2, 35.3, sorry. So it did cost him a little bit of time. Right, so just take us through a little bit the order, and we'll bring the drivers up on screen.
Yeah, so Riley Preston leads by 26 seconds, Fikara second, Slava Yatsenko third, Ruslan Sabitov in fourth, Zoran Jonic in
Slow
fifth.
down.
Sorry, do you have a graphic accompanying this?
I'm trying to bring him up on screen as well.
Oh, sorry, right, yes, Riley Preston leads by 25 seconds. He's on a really great race. We'll start from him. Really great race. Started on pole, comfortably the fastest man out there. So a great job from him, and he's looking like he's going to be on the way to victory. Massimiliano Ficara in second place. We spoke about him quite a lot because he's been very impressive from 7th on the grid up to 2nd place. Slava Yatsenko is the 3rd place man. He has had he's had good battles sort of through and through, but he's rarely been above 3rd. He just lost touch with Ficara now in the late going. Ruslan Sabitov is another one who has had a very, very good race. Just dropped off in the last few laps. I wonder actually if he's had a spin somewhere, Alex, because that consistency that we talked about, the times have just gone off the cliff since about lap 22. So
yeah, 36s now.
Really struggling out there, isn't it? I think he's got a lot of understeer, it looks like. So
He hasn't got much to worry about as well, though, because next up Doran there in 5th. He's lapping quicker, but he's 12.6 seconds behind. So
Zoran's got some company now. Kevin Ellis, who actually has recovered really well from a bad qualifying 14th, and P6 now, and catching Jonic. And Jonic was on the back of that 2nd, 3rd, 4th place group earlier on, wasn't he?
Yep.
So Ellis, that's one to definitely keep an eye on, Alex, and see whether he
last lap. Yep.
At 1.4 seconds now, so he may have a DRS run on the last lap. Steve Honan in 7th, Jorge Marquinez in 8th. He's had a fairly uneventful race since the very start. 15th on the grid to 8th. Julio Ornelas, who won the broadcasted race on Friday night, struggling out there really, to be honest. P9 for him today. Klaus Simetz is just coming through Sunset Bend now, and we haven't really spoken about him too much, but I think he possibly had a little contact in turn 1 as part of that big incident earlier on. Johan Scharerer in 11th, still running 1 lap down. All that damage on the front there, I'd have come in and got that fixed, to be honest, to get the car handling better, but yeah, he struggled a bit out there. Guillem Heredia as well has also had the problems with damage as well. And the last car, in fact, Eric Vizzi, we've just lost him actually. Alex, I don't know what's happened there.
Pit lane right now, no, sure.
I'm going to go and have a look at that because he was running, I think, 1 lap down. But it's the last lap for Riley Preston, and it's been a great performance, Alex.
Yeah, we're just on board. We'll watch this race out with him as well. Just last lap a bit slower. Must have been a bit of traffic or something there, but yeah, he's won it by a pit stop, so he could have come in and had a bit of fun.
I think obviously just wanting to take
the
win home, and
he wanted to bounce back from yesterday's race. Unfortunately, caught up with an incident with Patrick Holzman and myself to a degree. I was sort of behind and frantically tried to avoid, and unfortunately that was his race done. I was able to push on, of course, which was great. But bounced back well, and this will give him a little boost.
Over the line, and to take the checkered flag comes Riley Preston, to win the iRacing Grand Prix Series race here at Sebring International Raceway in Florida. So a great performance from Riley, and that will give him some confidence heading into the next round. So Massimiliano Ficara coming down into Sunset Bend. Don't really come down into anywhere on this track. It's pretty flat. Oh, he almost.
God.
He almost loses it on the final corner. He's a lucky man in the end there. The tyres really giving up on him towards the end of that race. And Slava Yatsenko over the line in P3.
That was a hot lap attempt, I'll tell you right there. He was trying to go for a new fastest lap there.
Everybody seemed to struggle at the very end there. So a pit stop may not have been the worst idea. you know, if you do a pit stop sort of 15 laps into the race, I think you probably have had a good.
Yeah, the times have dropped off half a second there. You know, if you were 7/10 faster, you know,
And half a second.
Yeah, you're 1.3 seconds quicker, 1.2 seconds quicker. You know, you're gonna
You lose 25 in the pit stop, you'd be close, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to come in about lap 15 to make it work. So you've got sort of 20 odd laps to do it. But
you have the confidence there, I guess.
Yeah, it is doable.
You have more confidence with a new set of tyres than you would have had with the, you know, cheese tyres at the end of the race, really. But by the way, Zoran Jonic did get 5th place. He was only half a second ahead of Kevin Ellis Jr. at the end, so good performances there. Steve Honan was 7th. Jorge Marquinez was 8th. 9th for Julio Ornelas, who's just come across, and Klaus Simetz has just finished as well in 10th place.
Yeah, good race all round. A lot of action towards the start. It all become about sort of tyre management further back. But yeah, we had a few retirees. Unfortunately, I think that first lap did quite a bit of damage to what we had, and then a couple of disconnects as well, which was a bit unfortunate. We had
7 of the 8 retirements within the first 12 laps. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really, wasn't it? We lost Gobby with a disconnection, and I think somebody else as well. I can't remember exactly who that was, but it was really. I don't know if we've just got time to have a quick look back at the start and just if anybody missed that, just to see how some of those retirements happened.
See if we can find that, shall we?
Well, we know how Shoto's retirement happened, I guess. Yeah. Because he was a bit frantic at the back.
See where this puts us. So, quite far enough back, but getting closer. Right, I think we'll be there now, so just not quite back there the first time, so... Right, who do we want to focus on? On board, maybe?
We have a look at the front battle, yeah, maybe with Gobby. Take us through. You can take us through, in your opinion, what happened there?
The roll bar.
He gets a great start, this Gobby as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really why he wanted to get that move done. Oh, I could just see him slipping that clutch, or hear him slipping that clutch. He does get a great run. I mean, he is into that corner, but he doesn't open up his apex at all. Thinks he's clear, and he's not at all.
No, he's not.
It's, yeah, he just tracks out to his normal position.
Because, you know, Stotos was on the outside line, but he would have carried the momentum round Alex and probably taken that place back. Oh, boff. And yeah, nothing Shotos could do at all, really, there.
Who was in 4th place at the start there? Behind that, who'd get a better view of it?
I will have a quick look. Steve Honan. Oh, he wasn't, because he got a horrible start. He got an awful start, did Steve.
Yeah,
well, in fact, he was still Steve, because he got a bad start when everybody else did too.
He checked up as well, because he was a bit worried about what was going on at the start. And I think he did the right thing, although he could see what was coming on ahead of him. But, yeah,
tell you what, Shotos did a good job of keeping that off the racing line.
Yeah.
It hit the tyre wall hard, bounced back over, and he just... And then, so then we need to figure out where that accident started. I believe it was Heredia. And with Ornelas, actually.
Yeah, let's jump back. So, he got loads of wheel spin as well. You can see him fighting the car. He initially would have had Steve, but yeah, then sort of throws it in a little bit. There's a few cars around him. But he got a much better run. Oh yeah, he got whacked actually.
Two cars.
Oh yeah, and he's just. It's
was Ornelas who got wide.
And then come back in, yeah.
And then came in at an aggressive angle, really, wasn't it?
Unfortunately, that's just Sebring, and I think...
But where's Ornelas supposed... You know...
He has to do that because of, you know, the car that he's worried about rejoining back to the circuit. Let's go on board with him.
There's two things there, Alex. If he doesn't do that, either he hits the wall or he hits the car of shot.
Oh, no, it's a great start as well. Gets a couple of places straight off there. So a lot of momentum going in. Around the outside. See him. I mean, he's perfectly fine to do that. He just actually, you know,
Did he get a tap as well? Or?
I think he needed to track out a little bit wider. He didn't sort of exit right on the curb. He sort of exited a little bit, about a car's width in, and that's what's done. But he would have picked up some side pod damage there, and that's probably what set him back a little bit for that race. But
you know, I had a look at the from Ornelas's actual cockpit view, so the driver's eye view, and when he's coming round the corner, he can't even see Shoto's car really. Not very well, at least.
It's kind of the nature of the track as well. You know, it's such a wide entry, and the exit is super narrow. Yeah, and everybody's scrambling as well because they're worried about that car bouncing back in. So just all those on board with Maris there.
And then it did. Have we seen did you see the aftermath there as well? Or?
Yeah, it was pretty hectic afterwards. So
Kevin Ellis did a good job to avoid that. I'll be honest. I don't know how he did. But that's where we lost Stefan Musilar as well, unfortunately. Shotos actually continued. But amazingly, I don't know how he managed to continue after that. But he continued, yeah, and then he packed it up after the next two corners because it was done for. Right, my friend, that was a good race, and you know, thanks for inviting me to do the series.
Yeah, just watched Kevin there. He used the grass on the left, and he was like, "Oh, I've got to avoid this." Yeah, great from him. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. A lot of fun, and always a pleasure to do the comms with you.
Yeah,
and good luck in the Kia Club Series if you're doing that tonight.
Yes, I am. So yeah, that should be interesting. That should be good. Silverstone International Circuit. So
and what's that? 7:50, 8 o'clock, I think, is it?
I believe it is 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so Adam Bath, Paul Smith in the booth for that one. That'll be on iRacing Live and, of course, on Apex Racing TV as well. So if you're interested in a bit of Kia action, you want to see some touring car action. And, of course, by touring car action, we mean, you know, some bumping, some bashing, some, you know, some fisticuffs and some shenanigans and all sorts. It's going to be great. So
I'm not immune to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it should be fun. Silverstone International Circuit, everybody. Tune in later on today. Go off and either watch the Formula 1 if you haven't already, or, you know, do what you need to do. But come back to Apex Racing TV at 8 o'clock for the BSR Kia Club Series.
Right, thank you very much, everybody. We will see you next week as well at Twin Ring Motegi. Will the clocks change? The clocks might have changed. I don't think. Actually, no. We're 2 days. Is it that weekend? Oh, I can't remember now. So it may have changed. What we will do is we'll do a post on the forum if there's going to be any change on that. We'll look it up because I think we'll need to. And also moving forward, when there's a clash with the real Grand Prix, we'll reschedule the broadcasted race as well, so that we're not forcing people to do this and miss the Grand Prix. But thank you everybody for tuning in on YouTube. A lot of fun today, and we'll see you next week. But thanks again.